You have a pension that's coming due, and maybe you're retiring from a job that you've worked and you're excited about it and trying to make the decision. Or maybe you're like a lot of other people that are out there that changed jobs, and now you have a pension that is coming due, and you're like, all right, this pension's kind of been just sitting to the side for all this time. It's pretty small, but I have no clue what to do. We have clients asking things like this all the time, so I'm actually going to give you some real life scenario here of what's going on. So first, let's really just take a look at this and say, okay, you could take the pension now, you could delay the pension, or you could take the lump sum. What is really going to be best for you? How are you going to calculate this? What does this look like? And does it make sense to maybe just take the lump sum and invest that money if it's not a lot of money, or does it not? And so really, I just want to break this down for you, show you exactly how this is going to work. And so if we look right here, let's just jump in and talk about this. So the person that I am going to describe here, they're 55 years old. So at 55, their company that they used to work for reached out and they said, hey, we want to make sure that you either take your pension now, or you can delay it, or you can take the lump sum. What do you want to do? And they reached out to us to ask. At age 55, they can get $68.91. Again, I said it's not a lot of money. They don't get any cost of living adjustment, any increase there. And ultimately, you could run it through a financial plan and you could say, okay, well, is it better to, take this amount and make sure that my spouse is taken care of and take a little bit less of a pension? If you have a pension, you probably know what I'm talking about, where there's the adjustment there for the spousal benefit as well. But in this scenario, we're just looking at if it's just, hey, it's just for that person, that's all we're going to do. So $68.91 monthly pension starts at age 55. We've got to figure out, when are you going to pass away? Because ultimately, that's going to help really just break down everything. So think about longevity in your family. Look at what, family history is. If you know that, consider your health. What we're going to use here is the age of 90. Now, in this scenario, when they turn 55, they also have the ability to just take the lump sum, $11,641.99. And so the age to receive there is at 55 as well. So if I were to take $11,641.99 at age 55 and invest that money in order to basically meet the same amount of money that they're getting from this pension, you would have to get a 6.56% average return. Now, for some people, you say, hey, I think that I can get that. I want to take that risk. Go for it. But on other people, if you're more conservative, 6.56% is really a bit challenging if you're a very conservative portfolio. So you've got to think through this. What is your comfort level to figure out? Now, again, this is one little snapshot here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the others, because I want to really break down how I went about guiding this person directly. And so if we're looking at the other scenario, we've got at $104.69 at age 65. So they can delay, get a little bit more pension there. And totally, that's going to pay out a little bit more money as long as they live to 90. But oftentimes, as with Social Security or any kind of annuity or pension, they're really kind of rooting for you to pass away early so they don't pay out as much. I know that sounds awful, but in a sense, that's kind of how it's broken down there. And so if you're looking here, they're currently 55. So they're going to wait. Again, age 90 is the date of death. So they're going to start at 65. Here, though, they're going to get $14,755.10. And there, then we need to create 7.34% average returns. Now, again, that's a little bit tricky. Do you want to take that chance, or do you want to say, hey, at 65, I'm going to go ahead and just take the pension because I know that it's a fixed amount, and ultimately, I need to get 7.34%. Now, if you don't need the money, maybe you say, okay, I'm just going to park this over for inheritance. I don't need that extra little bit of boost of income in retirement years. Then you can have that and set that plan up. But what happens if you were to say, you know what, I'm going to actually figure this out and say, at 65, I want access to the money. I don't need the money until then. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to invest that money for the next 10 years and then figure out how much is going to be, what's going to be the breakdown. And so if we do that right here, we're looking at this scenario and we say, okay, we're going to take the $11,641.99, 10 years to grow at a 6% interest rate. Again, we're not going ultra aggressive with this. We're not going super conservative. This is just a hypothetical return, not basing it off of anything specific, and your risk tolerance may be different there. But the future value on this would be $20,849. So now that we have the $20,849, let's go back over to this scenario where they say they're going to take it at 65, because remember, you're letting that money grow. And you say, all right, let's put in $20,849.03. Now let's figure out what that looks like. And so if we scroll down here, now we can see at 65, as long as they get that 6% steady return, then they would only need to produce that word, 3.61% up to age 90, much better than over 7%. And so this was the breakdown we looked at. The person didn't specifically need the money, and they said, hey, you know what? I'd like to take a little bit more risk with this to see if we could get it to grow at age 65 and then potentially have more money to live off of in the retirement years or even have that for inheritance. So that's one way of looking at this. I do suggest you always break it down with a financial plan. Now, also, if you are looking at this and you're saying, hey, you know, I want my kids to get educated. If you're on the Jazz Wealth channel, we want to help everybody that's closer to their retirement years. But if you're looking for your kids, be sure to check out our Doh Str8 channel as well, DOH-STR8.
Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Jazz Wealth and how we can help as fiduciary advisors, go to jazzwealth.com. If you want more educational content, be sure to check out our videos here.